Now, Ben Simmons is one of the most polarizing players in the NBA, and his situation reflects that. First of all, he starts with saying his bags are packed, he's not coming back to Philadelphia, and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, he's coming back to training camp. And then after that happened, he gets kicked out of practice. Ben Simmons has not played any of the first 3 games for the 76ers. We really got to question, what type of effect does this have on the 76ers? Now, we know Ben Simmons is a 3-time All-Star. He was 3rd in DPOY voting last year. He's a hell of a talent if you think he is. But a lot of people don't think he is. There's people who think that he has superstar potential still. There's people like me who think that he's kind of stagnant. Right now, he's kind of stagnant. He's not improving much. I don't know if he's regressing much. In the postseason, he's definitely regressing. But yeah, today in this video, what we're going to look at is this making the 76ers better? So let's start with the guy that it is actually not helping out. Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid this season, granted, there's new rules and new foul things, but he's averaging so much less free throws than he's normally had. Last season he averaged like 11 or 12 free throws a game. This season he's averaging 6 and shooting 72% from the line, which is obviously a lot lower than Joel Embiid has ever shot from the free throw line in his career, basically. And this season he's averaging 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. Now the 5 assists are cool for a center, I guess, but the 21 points is down a lot. Now, for the Philadelphia 76ers to have one of the better records in the league this year, Joel Embiid has to have an MVP caliber season. Now, we know that Ben Simmons is not going to help that really offensively because he does not space. So there's a big question mark around Joel Embiid's ability to be an MVP candidate this year. I think we all expect him to be one. A lot of people were saying that he was going to be the MVP coming into this year. Not looking like it so far. So in Ben Simmons' absence, Joel Embiid has gotten worse. But let's get to the bright side, okay? Let's talk about one of the better players since Ben Simmons has left, Seth Curry. Just listen to this. Seth Curry, over 3 games, has an 88% true shooting percentage. That is the most efficient true shooting percentage in the league over the people that have played enough minutes. 88% true shooting percentage, 20 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, and he's shooting 68.8% from the field, 76.5% from 3, and 70% from the free throw line. It's actually 68% from the free throw line, or 67% from the free throw line, but I'll round it up for him because he's so efficient. Seth Curry has gotten a lot of positive from this. With the Ben Simmons system, Ben Simmons, we all know, is like Russell Westbrook. On offense, he needs the ball in his hand to be effective, and a lot of the times he's not effective on offense, at least in the half-court setting. So Seth Curry is really taking advantage of that. Being the lead guard on this team and one of the lead ball handlers has improved him a lot, letting them know that he's not a spot-up shooter, and it just keeps showing us how much of a fleece that they did when they traded Josh Richardson for Seth Curry. Now look, sure, it's only over 3 games, so he's only scored 61 points, and we've seen people on 3-game stretches have 88% true shooting percentage. But I think this is one thing that can kind of stay how it is. Not the 66% from the field, not the 76% from the 3, but I do think he can stay at around 20 points per game. Seth Curry, I think, is one of the more efficient volume scorers in the league. It's just he doesn't get much volume scoring because he was a catch-and-shoot shooter on the 76ers. But let's talk about the next guy that this has opened a lot of opportunity for. Tyrese Maxey this year is averaging 16.3 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. Now look, his efficiency is not the best. 43% from the field, 25% from 3, 89% from the free throw line, which is actually pretty good. But Tyrese Maxey, when it comes to his role, has went up so much. And I really want him to capitalize on this moment because I think he does have really good potential and potential to be a really good starting point guard of the future. Tyrese Maxey has a true shooting percentage of 51%, which is below league average, but he is a sophomore year player, and I want him to do great things. I think when it comes to handling the ball, he's been good at it. He has 3 turnovers a game, which is not good, but as a sophomore year point guard, that's not too terrible. And also, Tyrese Maxey has showed this ability to create shots and also not be a negative spacer. Obviously, he's shooting 25% from 3, but they're still guarding him at the 3-point line, so it is giving Joel Embiid more spacing. I think it's integral to the Sixers team's success. Now, let's talk about a guy in which it is affecting him negatively, Tobias Harris. Now, Tobias Harris, I think, might be a byproduct of Ben Simmons. Now, Ben Simmons doesn't create for you much offensively, but he still is a bigger threat to score than Tobias Harris in some people's mind. So I think Tobias Harris does have less pressure on him when he has Ben Simmons on the floor, even though Ben Simmons is not that great of an offensive player in the half-court setting. Tobias Harris this year, 55% true shooting percentage, which is about league average, 19 points per game, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. Yeah, he's shooting 50% from the field, only 30% from three. I think Tobias Harris and his aggressiveness is really going to take a step back. You know, Seth Curry's aggressiveness is taking such a big step forward. He's so efficient this season so far that I think Tobias Harris might be the third scoring option on this team. Not the third best player. He's probably going to be the second best player still, but the third scoring option. Now, Tobias Harris is one of the weirder players in the league because it's like you can't do anything. Like, the Sixers can't do anything with him. His contract is terrible. You know, he's been very streaky on seasons. He's been pretty bad on some seasons. So they're in a weird situation where they got to keep him. And Ben Simmons being out of Philly, or well, he's not out of Philly, but not playing with Philly, has affected Tobias Harris negatively. But let's get into the grand scheme of things. Okay, this is the biggest thing I wanted to touch on in this video, is the 76ers' ability to space. Now, for me, I've only watched like 4 or 5 quarters of a 76ers game this season so far, but it looks like their offense is a lot more fluid and it runs a lot better. What I mean by this is also the stats back it up. 48.5% from the field, which is higher than they were last season. 43% from three, which is definitely higher than they were from last season. They're hitting about 15 threes a game. 15 threes a game is by far the most threes made per game in a season in 76ers history. That's easily by far the most threes made a game in 76ers history. Now look, while I do think this three-point shooting is good, I don't think it's going to stay up. You know, I think it's going to cap out around 37%, around league average. But the biggest thing I want to touch on is the free throws attempted per game. As a team, the 76ers are averaging 17 free throws attempts a game. And we knew that last year Joel Embiid was averaging like 12 free throw attempts a game. That is crazy for that free throw attempt to go down so much. And they kind of need that free throw attempt to go up for them to be successful. They blew a pretty big lead against the Nets. And I think a part of that was their inability to create offense. And Ben Simmons, don't get me wrong, he doesn't create offense in the half-court setting, but he does enough defensively to try and give you some leeway to find some fast breaks and some easy layups in the open floor. So, the biggest thing I want you to take away from this video is that Ben Simmons is definitely not a negative player in the grand scheme of things, but maybe it's making the 76ers offense better. Now, Ben Simmons right now has a trade value of a fucking quarter, so you're not going to get nothing for Ben Simmons. But Ben Simmons' absence has not been as bad as we thought it would be. You know, I think the Sixers are like 1-2 or some shit. But, bro, Ben Simmons being absent is not as bad as we thought it would be. Ben Simmons was a guy who, they used to say, who would you rather have, Embiid or Simmons? And a lot of people chose Simmons because they're like, oh, he can be a superstar in the future. Well, that's changed a lot, and the 76ers have changed a lot this season too, with their ability to shoot three-pointers and have Seth Curry be a god. All right, y'all, that's the video. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you want to. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.
Hey, come on, I got a bag on me. You try to take it, leave you stinking like your last homie. She kinda cakey, little baby, put that ass on me. But I ain't that horny, do you got some cash for me? Why every time you ask him that, bitches act funny. And you keep trying to hold the strap, you won't slap for me. You too happy, I can tell you never had money. Every time you get on live, gotta flash money.